Sunset Strip, confidential. Who lived? Who died? Who got rich? Who got fucked? Sunset Strip, confidential. But first, a philosophical question. If you're in a Guns N' Roses tribute band, is the girl that's going out with you because of the character you play in the Guns N' Roses tribute band? Now think about it. Think about it. Say you portray the Slash character in this Guns N' Roses tribute band, and the girl and you are going out, and you guys are getting along, but in the deep recesses of your mind, you're thinking, is she going out with me because of who I am, or is she going out with me because she thinks I'm Slash? When we're having sex at night, why does she make me wear the hat? I don't want to wear the hat, but she makes me wear the hat. I used to hear this a lot with my old band. You guys should have been huge, that Blackout record. You guys should have sold millions of records. And maybe, we didn't sell millions of records, and that's okay. Most bands don't. Most bands don't sell any records, ever, especially now. Most bands don't end up with anything resembling what you would call fame and fortune. They write songs, they play gigs, they have fun, and that's it. And maybe that's enough. That 80s Sunset Strip assembly line of bands, that doesn't exist anymore. Not like it did. Sure, there are still LA bands playing the Whiskey or the Viper Room, but it's not the same. I mean, they're not out there thinking they're going to be on MTV. Now, are they? There is no more MTV, unless you're 16 and pregnant. MTV used to be the biggest vehicle for selling records ever conceived. It could make you, in the case of Guns N' Roses, or it could break you if you were Billy Squier. I mean, who would have thought that MTV, music television, wouldn't play music anymore? No more MTV, no more Headbangers Ball. I remember my bass player and I doing our first Headbangers Ball back in 1990. We were going to play She's an Angel unplugged on acoustic guitar and vocal, stripped down. Maybe the first time anyone had ever done that on MTV. So we're backstage, nervous, of course, and a certain person came up to us right before we were supposed to go on, and he said, I always thought you guys sucked, but I do like that song, Why Do You Think They Call It Dope? Wow. I got mad. My bass player saw my reaction and he said, shh, don't get mad. Don't fuck this up. Don't fuck it up for us. I mean, that was one of those pivotal moments in life. Suck it up, do your job, or throw it all away by throwing a lamp at the host. Now, if you see the video, you can see my face. I'm mad. I'm totally mad. I'm pissed. But I did my gig. I played it cool. And I lived to rock another day. Now here's the lesson. When you're in the machine sometimes fucks with you. It degrades you. It tests you to see if you have the backbone to take it. Discretion being the better part of valor, or something like that. You know what I mean? You gotta suck it up, buttercup. Case in point, in 1990, we opened up for AC/DC in arenas all over the country. Huge shows, sold out shows. And as the opener, we had to do these mandatory meet and greets for all the local record stores and distributors, all the mom and pop stores. A lot of these people, they didn't care about us, and we certainly didn't care about them. A lot of them showed up just so they could get into AC/DC for free. Of course they did. Sometimes we would have to endure the popular local DJ goofball and his sycophants as they waltzed into our backstage dressing room like Louis XIV. We play your record, therefore you owe me. That kind of thing. I almost got into a fist fight with some local guy when I committed the cardinal sin of not remembering his name. Picture this. You don't remember me. You don't remember me. No, I'm sorry. Wait. You don't remember. Wait. No, dude, I don't remember you. I don't remember your radio station or your radio station's call letters or your stupid radio nickname, Mr. Morning Zoo Guy. I've been on a tour bus for 10 months straight, and I meet 50 new people a day, and I can't remember any of them. I can't even remember what city I was in last night. How's that for genius? All I want to do right now is drink beer and chase women. Those are my two short-term goals. So we're backstage, and some of the record store employees were milling about. You know, you could hear the opening chords of Thunderstruck, AC/DC's first song, and you could tell they wanted to go watch. So I chatted one girl up. So, are we selling any records at your store? None. None? You know, with a smile. Not one? Not one record? No, not one. Fuck you. I walked out of the room and I screamed a little to the walls at her rudeness, at her shittiness. The next day, I got a call from the almighty record company ordering me to write a letter of apology to the record store. Really? After what had just happened? So, yeah, to answer your question, yes, I wrote that letter. The first of many fucking letters, I might add. It got to where I would just Xerox them and send them out like bulk mail. You know, dear so-and-so, sorry for being a dick, signed, your old pal Jizzo. Yeah, I guess in retrospect it does sound a little shitty. But you know what? Back then, in the thick of it, the tour buses, the MTV, playing all these cool places, how could you not think that this was going to be the rest of your life? And all this shit was pre-internet. Pre-internet, mind you. There was no internet. You could get away with murder. You could get away with almost anything within reason and not get busted. Think of it. Can you imagine? No metal sludge. No repercussions. Back then, if you wanted to keep in touch with a girl on the road, you gave them your phone number, your landline. If you didn't, you didn't. No big deal. Girls would sometimes write letters to our manager, and he would forward them to my mom's house, you know, my old house, and my mom would just open them up and read them, you know, for fun. She marveled at the bad spelling and the horrible penmanship. Are you really sleeping with all these girls, she asked. Yes, Mother, I am. The Sunset Strip back then was a bustling community, like a buzzing beehive of guys and girls all out for the party. So in that community, people would sometimes take advantage of other people. The liars, the bullshitters, guys at the Rainbow pretending to have a career, saying anything to get that girl to go home with them. I recalled one night in particular on another video when me, my ex-wife, and her friend, new to Hollywood, went to the Rainbow, and her friend got ambushed by some goofball liar saying he was in Pretty Boy Floyd. You know, he'd just come off a world tour and how he was staying at a suite at the Hyatt down the street. He's very lonely, but he's also totally rich. And could she please come home with him and eventually become a stripper to support him? He had this pre-recorded spiel down, like he was reading off a teleprompter. Maybe he was reading off a teleprompter. And believe it or not, it would work night after night, time after time. Young Pamela Andersons looking for their Tommy Lee. One time, there was this guy claiming he was Izzy Stradlin, you know, from Guns N' Roses. He was staying across the street at the apartment from the Whiskey. That's where all the whiskey waitresses lived. He said he was Izzy, and people believed him. I mean, they gave him money, girls slept with him. Nobody asked the question, why would the real Izzy Stradlin need money? We called him the false Izzy. So one night, Axl Rose heard about the false Izzy, and he and a bunch of his buddies walked down from the Rainbow to this apartment on San Vicente and confronted the guy. False Izzy jumped out the window and ran for his life. He probably went to San Diego or Phoenix, hung out at the Mason Jar, where he wouldn't be such an obvious bust. I told this story when I was at the Limelight Club in New York, the church, up in the VIP room upstairs. I was there hanging at the bar, just like normal, when Axl Rose walked by. He stopped, turned, recognized me, came up to me, shook my hand, and he said, when we were mastering our Use Your Illusion record, we used your Blackout record as one of our templates. That's cool, I said. That's really cool. And it was. I just wanted you to know that. And he smiled and he walked away. No big deal. And I'm sitting there, and this girl next to me kind of shrugged and said, I never liked his band anyway. And I looked at her like she had no brain, and I said, can you believe what just happened? I just got a sprinkling of magic dust, magic axle dust. Shit like this matters, man. Especially when the Temple of the Dog record had just come out, and we were all feeling that weird sensation on the back of our neck, the inkling, the grunge was coming at us like a storm, which, unbeknownst to us, would upend our whole musical genre and make us totally uncool in an instant. Kaboom! That's why I talk so much about the whole longevity thing. So many bands at that time, so many bands had just one record, one song on MTV, 10 minutes of fame, and then oblivion. Dropped, shanghaied, f***ed over. What happened? You could tell, all of us at one time going, what happened? We were supposed to ride the magic Ferris wheel for eternity. This was not to be our fate. Thank God my band had a small bit of fame over in the UK. People loved us over there on that accursed isle. Back in the day, I remember walking some girl home to the train station in London after a night of Jizzo craziness. Waiting for the train and glancing over at the newsstand, there's my picture on the magazine. My picture on the cover of the latest Kerrang magazine. She pretended not to notice, but she did. Yeah, sometimes life gives you just a little drop of awesomeness. Appreciate it while it lasts. People make videos these days to sell records that nobody buys. It's weird. People say they want new music, but do they? Do they really? Or do they just want the idea of it? Or is it just a hearkening to the past when people truly cared about a new record? They waited in line for it. They opened it up. They studied the lyrics, looking for magical intent. They wondered what you were thinking when you wrote that song. What did it mean? What did it all mean? People are getting older, and it's getting to be more and more of a hassle to go out and see bands. We can't get a babysitter. Why aren't you playing on a weekend? Tickets are so expensive. I hope this isn't you, Mr. Listener. I hope you still have a flicker of fire in your belly for live music, not the canned variety, no tracks. I see hundreds of phones and no eyes looking. Fuck it, man. Enjoy the experience. Enjoy the music. You don't need to bring me home in a doggy bag. Enjoy the live music while you can and however long you can. Because as we have learned, this thing that we sometimes take for granted can be taken away. No one thought it could happen, but it did. 2 weeks became 2 years. Didn't it? Let's not be robots. Let's not be bots. Let's retain a small slice of humanity as we move forward in time. As Shakespeare himself once said, play that funky music, white boy. Play that funky music right. It's your old pal Jizzo, rockin' and rollin'. We'll see you next time.